qualify under that, but I think probably another thing we can do is come up with some type of classification for mobile home parks that would raise the standards from what we have, which are pretty minimal, and certainly could offer more affordable housing in certain areas and still maintain a clean city. And I'll be happy to come up with a proposed ordinance on that. I think first thing we need to do is, mainly because it's easier, I can change the definition or come up with a better definition of mobile homes. But I think coming up with a separate classification for and requirements for a mobile home park is certainly something doable.
Is that what you wish?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure,
I think we.
let me see what I can come up with on that. And I'll get with Victor.
May never have a ticket, but I mean, I just visited Michigan, and I go there every year, but I visited a friend there who lives in a, if you want to call it that, a mobile home park. It was very neat, it was clean, I mean, just, it was well laid out, it had a secured gate on it, I mean, just, you know, it was a nice housing area. So,
Well, and you see it in a lot of retirement communities, those type of developments, and sure, I mean, I'll get with Victor and I think come up with something for us to look at.
Okay. We won't into the report. I've got some bullet points I just want to bring the council up to speed. The Econ Director, the City Utility is proposed start date September 15th. So we'll have a person on staff to fight for Kennett's needs for industry and business. The EPA lawsuit that the city is involved in, we'll have a, they call it a settlement meeting, but it's probably not going to be a whole lot of settling, on September 16th. So you pretty much say that's ongoing. We did meet with the Board of Public Works. David Wilkinson met with Senator Blunt to discuss the current lawsuit this morning. So maybe there'll be a little help from the federal side. Highway 412, the utility relocates are still occurring. This is in preparation for the 5-lane road for the bypass. One thing I wish the council, what we need to do as far as keep us up to speed, we need to authorize the correct signatures to be on the bank signature cards. We do need to do that as a council. They're outdated, need to be updated. Is that something that you prepare, or is that we do?
Usually give them the bank whatever they require.
Okay, get that lined up for next meeting. All right. I did meet with Randy this morning, and we discussed mowing the drainage ditches running throughout town. Many of you probably noticed they're growing up. We're going to set up a meeting with a local mowing contractor and Mr. McVeigh to discuss liability issues with mowing the drainage ditches throughout the town. I'm talking about the major drainage ditches. I'm also in progress in the works of coming up with a plan for you all to approve to take care of our alleys, sidewalks, roads, and overgrown lots, the vegetation problem that we're having here in the city. Get a lot of stop signs growing. It's vegetation is encroaching on them.
You notice that too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're getting a lot of calls about alleys. So I'm looking at several different approaches, very early stages of it, that we might be using other departments of the city, contracting it out, etc. Just going to get some figures and present to the council. Dilapidated properties, I do want us to get on top of that sooner than later. Start getting a plan. I know Victor, I've been talking to Victor. He's got 10 properties located, and letters has been sent out. It's about a 60-day process just in letter writing that it takes to get this done. But they're definitely not gonna go anywhere until we have some action on it. Also with Randy, I did ask his department to take care of the downtown parking and marking lines, the parking paint, painting the streets, the parking spots, and also the city and county-owned parking lots, and lining up the parking concrete block barriers, whatever you want to call them. Finally, I would like this council to, two items I would like them to do, or look into at least, and this might be with the Human Resource Committee, review our sick and vacation time off policies. We have a lot of time on the books, a lot of liability on the books, carry over. We might need to see if we need to revise that or keep it the same, but I wish that you all would look into this practice. I know a lot of companies that do not keep a lot of time on the books, just a liability on the audit report. But if you all would look at that for us. And then I would like for this council to, one way or the other, up or down vote, and send it to the folks to vote on it, but let's get something moving on the trash issue. I know it's a hot button, but it's been several years since this was brought up. Some kind of organized approach, and I would ask this council to either send it to the people to vote or make a plan that we can get rid of this problem that we have. I know it's a pretty tall order, but it's not going anywhere either. We talk about it every other month, pops up. We're supposed to be here to lead this community. Let's step up to the plate and let's take care of that. You all are the ones that have the power to do it, so.
If the businesses now would, whether it's a correct number or just an estimate, if we had a number of how many customers they had, I think it would be easier to look at it as far as dividing the wards so that nobody gets run out of a job, but, you know, if we could somehow look at that, and I don't think they've been quite as forthcoming in the past. So I don't know if that'd be one thing we could try.
I do not know. Well, I mean, in the past, we sent it to the folks, to the people to vote.
Yeah.
I think a big hesitation on voting for it was the uncertainty of how much it's gonna cost. I don't think there's a way we can actually give them a perfect figure, but I believe there is a way we can get around the figure. You know, ballpark figure.
Are we talking about the same thing we were talking about before, where we would have one trash hauler for the city? Or are we talking about, like Diane was saying, dividing the wards up and
You can do either way,
farming it out?
but
So.
everyone's gonna wanna know what the price is gonna be. Is it gonna go up?
Yeah.
And that's a concern that just about everyone I've spoken with about this subject has rocked my attention.
I mean, almost every city around that has it is at least probably lower than what most of us pay.
Yeah.
Consolation, anybody? I mean, so what we need to do is have it on the agenda and decide what we want to present to the people. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
But I think most all those cities that have it, where they add it to the utility bill or whatever else, is if they have a single pay, they put it out for bid, and that's the reason you get a lower price.
And that's, I guess that's what we're saying. We either have to choose that model, put on the ballot, or the other model of dividing it up and trying to.
It's been on the ballot before and it was voted down,
Right.
all right? Not by too much, but nonetheless it was, but there were some people at that time that were quite outspoken about, you know, protecting the jobs of the existing carriers, and which may it'd be true, but I mean, I still think if we're gonna do it for the city, you're just almost gonna have to bid it, and if all of them are willing to meet that lowest price bid, that's fine, otherwise, then, they just have to take their chance with maybe getting a job with the person that does get the bid.
I see this to me, it's just like any other law, it's creative. It's not creative for the ones that's doing right, it's creative for the ones that's not doing right. And we have no enforcement whatsoever to say, you know, hire your trash, haul your trash off. You see rubbish all around, there's a lot of rental property that's stuck in the backyard. You talk to landlords, and what I've heard and read, I mean, they may have a backyard full of trash. Just because they don't want to pay, they have to haul off. Again, this is not to punish anyone, but it is, it's to take care of the problem that we do have on our hands. And no one can say it's not a problem. It is a problem.
Have we checked with the utility company to see if they would be able to handle that, adding it to the bill?
I have not checked with them, no.
Yep, at one time, when I was the mayor, it was.
They've updated the system and
Yes.
for the extra line
It
items.
was, I mean, it wasn't something they really wanted to do, but it was something that could be done with the systems that they have.
So there could be two items, trash and mosquitoes.
Was there any discussion of compensating them for the administrative costs that they would incur? Or they just?
No, but I mean,
being
obviously,
dumped upon them?
obviously you'd have to, you know, if you get somebody sitting down there at City Light and Water that's keying in or collecting the money or doing whatever issue, I mean, they certainly need to be compensated. That's gotta be part of the whole plan.
Mr. Mayor, back on the morning, you know what the plan is for the Emerson property that is really becoming a eyesore, maintenance nightmare out there as far as keeping it mowed, and the whole north bypass, not the whole north bypass, the lower north bypass is in terrible condition. I don't know if that's MoDOT's not cutting it or who, but the
You mean
north bypass was terrible.
The highway side of the ditch bank,
Yes.
I think that, I'm saying it's MoDOT.
Some of the property owners mow all the way out to the pavement, it looks good. Drive a block or two down the bypass, and it's really high out there.
Occasionally I have asked Victor to give them a call.
Back to my original question, any insight as to what the plans are for the Emerson property?
Well, the previous leadership had a plan, I don't know if that's still in place or,
I don't know.
last I heard, they had a salvage auction. They're gonna tear down the property, level it, take concrete out, and have an open lot. That was the previous leadership of TRCC.
Maybe at that point, they'll,
Maybe. But, back on the trash, I know it's gonna be a hot button issue, and we're gonna have a room full next meeting, but one way to answer, we owe it and deserve it to the people of Kennett to give them an answer. At least settle it out for someone else in this seat later on down the road, but for the time being, we need to give them an answer. And I ask the council to do that for the city.
Mr. Mayor, you had in your report a while ago about the dropping of the square and parking lots here in the city. Right now, Mr. Carter, if we're gonna start taking on that much work for these guys, right now they're having to paint these drops by hand. It takes up a lot of man hours. Could we authorize Mr. Carter to check into those dropping machines, small ones, that can be used by one person, if we're gonna take it off? Cause his crew spent, how much time did it take you to do Floyd Street, Randy, the other day?
Probably 12, 13 hours.
Paint just that one intersection, and that has to be done on a regular basis. And he has to top one man to do that for a whole day. If we take on this much, it might be cost effective for us to look into the dropping.
Something like this project, I would much rather see it bid out the project, have a company come in, stripe everything, just the same as the county did. That's how it's painted currently, the county bidded the striping. And you see many commercial businesses, they have a company come in, they lay striping down the parking lots, they're in and out in no time.
You know, that was actually part of the asphalt overlay bid.
Mhm.
It was all one, it wasn't bid out separate.
It's, I mean, another company come in, we didn't do the striping. They had a,
You're just going to the city does, is what I figured out.
I would love to see us bid it out, yes, sir.
Would it be cheaper if we were to do multiple meters?
We never know till we get a price on it.
Can we authorize him to look at
I
something?
would love to do that. Get a price on, you can do the machine, and we can get a price on bidding the, project out.
Both.
Uh-huh. Can you take care of that for us?
Are you talking about, are we gonna include the county portion of the downtown too? Are we gonna pay for that, or are they gonna do their own?
Do the whole, I would say do the whole project. Does anybody have objection to that? That's all I have. I think I raised, or I'm gonna raise enough feathers as it is for this one, so I'll leave it at that. I will move on into the city council committee reports.
Thank y'all. We gotta get them back to studying.
Oh, well, guys, we appreciate it. Yep, I don't think the council will mind. Do you all have any questions for us? Please ask.
Interesting. We're gonna have a lot of things to talk about our next meeting. Go through what you all talked about.
Especially mosquito control.
Especially mosquitoes. These boys don't remember riding behind the mosquito trucks when they were little, so I did.
No.
It was lots of fun, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you for coming.
Do you all need agenda?
I gave you,
Oh, you
Charlie
did?
gave you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any committee reports?
Public Safety Committee met tonight, and one of the major things we talked about was the police overtime, and it is down significantly for this month, almost half of what it was in July. So, thank you to Chief Dennis and Director Malott, and all the officers, I guess. But, there's more that we talked about, but I think Johnny Dennis will probably do that in his report, that we did meet. And, there's two of our members were absent. I guess it's, I kind of say one of them had a death in his family, and, Bill Palmer, who's still out, and we do want to send him our best wishes.
All righty. Well, thank you all.
We need a Human Resource Committee meeting, Monday at 5:30.
Park and Paul be meeting at 5:15.
Excuse me?
Park and Paul be meeting at 5:15 on Monday.
The conference room.
Do you want in the conference?
That's fine, it's just three of us, we can go to the
Monday,
closet, we're
fine.
fine.
Okay.
It is a nice short meeting,
Okay.
thank you.
Anything from the finance?
No, it's done.
All right. We'll move on into the department reports. We got any brief summaries?
Real quick, want to give kudos to both police and the fire department. Police have worked a hit and run. Start out with little to no information other than people being hit by a vehicle, and they end up making an arrest on the case and solving the mystery behind it all. Fire department, last Saturday morning, had a fire in the Public Housing Authority, Slasher Street. We get there, smoke's coming out of the house. Basically, when they forced the door and get in, the victim's still laying in the floor. They ended up getting him out and getting him onto the hospital, and I think he's back home today, but it's a good job on both parts. On a kind of a down note, Chief Dennis gave us a report from the canine officer, Mark Dennis, that Midas is he's about 6 years old, and they took him to the vet to get a kind of a veterinarian evaluation of him. They used the local veterinarian, Dr. Mobley, he's basically saying that maximum life on a working dog like this is about 8 years old. Midas has starting to develop some arthritis, and with that, there's some medication that goes along with it. I think basically he's recommending that you know, he's not going to have a whole lot more career time as a canine officer. What Mark Dennis is requesting is that he's checked with the company Canine Unlimited Incorporated of Tulsa, where we got the last dog. They've agreed to do a new canine for a price of about $6,900, which is quite a discount. There's a warranty, 5-year genetic health guarantee with this one, and this includes training and stuff. And what Officer Dennis is requesting is permission to do like they did last time. There's certain individuals that want to donate to this cause. We can start receiving those donations and put them into that.
Did we get a trade-in?
What's that?
Did we get a trade-in?
Well, they got a warranty, so, yeah.
I don't know if they trade them in or not.
300,000 calls.
They usually retire them off to someone on to the park.
Yeah, I know.
But, anyway, he's just wanting permission basically to start the process of those who want to donate towards a new officer. Let the council know. And, either say yea or nay.
Is Mark gonna keep doing the canine? Or he's not?
Yes.
He is gonna keep it, okay.
So, anyway, that's issues at hand. Nobody has any problems with him.
No, I
People wanna
think
see.
it's fine, John.
Okay.
That's just me.
One other thing, the last thing, we had the grant for the aerial truck. Our policy that we have on procurement does allow us to tag on to other government entities when they have a bid. Just so happened the city of Sykeston just opened bids on an aerial truck, same size, same type, same desired features like we're wanting. And we met with the company today, and hopefully I want to call and make sure that the FEMA grant, David and I went to a seminar, and they said that you can tag on if your procurement policy allows you to, or we can use like GSA or other local government bid pools rather than going out for writing the specs and then going out for a bid, which could be a long process. So may come back, I want to check with them to make sure what we're doing is, you know, they approve of it, and we may come back the next meeting and ask to tag on to their bid. There's no problem with that. We need to get this process moving because it's about a 240 to 270 day build, and we got to have this grant ended by next July, so we're ticking down time on it.
Anyone have any objections? No. Let's proceed.
Thank you.
Mileage report's done, but didn't get to you all. We'll get it out to you. Seems to be a little bit of confusion from some people. The sidewalk work that's being done on First Street is not our hiking and biking trail sidewalk work. This is strictly a project the Missouri Department of Transportation is doing. They've done it in a lot of other cities. It's strictly their money. We have no involvement in it. We have nothing to say about where it went, when it started, or anything else. It just happened to seem to fall into their timing. They started at Depot, and they're going all the way to Michael Street, on the south side of the street there. We're doing that. And luckily they're got thrown into it. It wasn't part of the bid process, but it got thrown in to replace the MoDOT apron there at South Anthony. So that's getting done. It's not our responsibility anyway, but you know, that's getting done out of the same project. So that's going on down there. But this is not our sidewalk project or hiking and biking trail. Speaking of that, we're still waiting on MoDOT to award the official award of the concrete portion that you all approved to the Nip Kelly Company out of St. Louis to do the sidewalks, okay? As a precursor to that, the storm drain under the sidewalk on the north side of First Street, from Radio Shack down to Depot, has collapsed. We can't get Barney hose down through there. In fact, there's probably about 15 feet of hose in there now that we never could get back out. We had planned originally, and it was submitted in the grant proposal, that the contractor, whoever got the sidewalks, would remove the concrete at part of the grant. Then we would come in, a city, and we would dig the old pipe up and replace it, so we could replace our storm drains down through there. MoDOT won't let us do it in that fashion. They say that in doing it that way, we have the potential of holding up the contractor. So after they award the contract, I've got to work out a time schedule with them for us to go in and remove the sidewalk and replace the stormwater pipe up and down through that area. But in order to do that, and I don't know when it will happen, I need your approval to go ahead and spend some more capital improvement money for that. We've got bids, 3 phone bids for the pipe, and one of a local supplier, it came in under $3,000, which is our procurement for securing bids like that, where we can still do it to buy a plastic pipe to put in there. And I would like your permission to accept those phone bids and do that.
Any objection?
That's not gonna, will that have any impact on the work you're doing there on Anthony, North Anthony? I mean,
No, this was started with the old Radio Shack right this side of Frisco. There's a stormwater box there, and it'll come down to the old E.C. Robinson Lumber Company.
Oh.
There on the north side.
This doesn't affect the pipe that's there in front of Striggles, it goes back towards the Radio Shack? Okay.
Real quick, Ford Street's open. We've got some more work to do there. We'll probably, I had hoped that later this week, but I think the weather's already messed us up. Maybe one day next week we'll close it for a half a day and do the sealer on the First Street side of the box there. Excuse me, like we did with the additions and the other streets. Just be very minor expense while he's here finishing up. The street overlay work is done. I say that, but then we've got the curb and gutter going on. It's completed on Wayne Street. They're working on North Anthony now. Asphalt people will still be coming back filling those streets in, but just the actual overlay of the other streets, still has to be done, the gravel portion of those. We've got 2 intersections done. They're going to finish all 3 streets for curb and gutter so we can get the asphalt in before they switch back to that. So, things are moving right along. We're still making good progress with all of that. If we get the changes approved by MoDOT that we've asked for on the hiking and biking trail, on the asphalt portion of that, I'll come back, and explain to you all what minor things that, actually affect the city, and how we're gonna get the price down on that. But don't see a reason to take up your time or go into a lot of things when we don't know for sure that they'll approve it. So.
Couple notes while Randy's here. I did ask Randy to go ahead and get a price on the natural gas fired heater for the new storage barn. That's where we're keeping the back truck. In winter time, if you all might remember, they're having to winterize it every time they use the truck. This allows us to use the truck whenever we need to without winterizing every time after each use. Each time we get pricing, it's not authorizing to buy it, just getting a price. Is there something else?
Yeah, I think it was a mowing.
Okay.
I believe.
I was gonna mention something about, is there any way we can get some of those weeds taken care of all down through the middle of town where they're replacing the sidewalks? Yeah, I know they've been sprayed with Roundup because they're all dead, but they're still 2 to 3 foot tall, like around the stop signs and stuff.
Okay, I thought they'd gotten most of them, but it's been a while since I've had anybody to just do or spray them. I know there are a few isolated ones. We'll put it on the agenda, but with 5 workers, we're really strapped to, get things like that done. it makes a difference when you're 3 people short, how much you can get done.
I understand.
Anything else? Public comments? Like to hear us speak? No?
I have one thing.
One of it. No?
You all know the Chamber of Commerce has agreed to take over the duty of tourism tax distribution, and we have a committee in place